Shu Kai opens up in rare interview. Tan Songyun is the reason I believe in forever. The lights of the studio glimmered like scattered stars against a velvet sky. Outside, the city was a blur of neon and rain-slicked streets. Inside, silence reigned. Shu Kai sat beneath the blazing lights, his usually confident posture subdued. For the first time in years, he wasn't here to promote a show, a brand, or a deal. Tonight, this was different. The cameras weren't just rolling, they were waiting. Waiting for a man known for his charm and composure to say something that might shatter the internet. The interviewer, a seasoned journalist with a reputation for drawing blood from even the most guarded stars, leaned forward. Her voice was soft but unrelenting. Shu Kai, is it true what they say? That everything you've fought for, everything you've risked, has been for Tan Songyun? A flicker crossed his face, an emotion raw and unpolished. He didn't speak right away. He let the question hang in the air like a blade over his heart. The crew barely breathed. Finally, Shu Kai looked up, eyes glistening under the harsh lights. She's the reason I believe in forever. The weight of his words. Gasps escaped the crew. The journalist's pen stilled mid-note. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. His voice cracked on the last word, as if it carried the weight of years of hidden battles. But no one knew just how heavy those battles had been. Not yet. Outside the studio, fans crowded around screens and live feeds. Comments exploded in real time. Did he just confirm it? Forever. This is huge. Someone check on Tan Songyun, she must be crying right now. But if they thought this confession was the peak of the drama, they were wrong. It was only the beginning. Flashback. The night it all almost fell apart. The scene cuts to months earlier. Shanghai. Midnight. A storm raged, lightning clawing the skyline. Shu Kai stood alone on the balcony of a penthouse, his knuckles white around his phone. Tan Songyun's last message was still on the screen. Maybe they're right, maybe we're too different. Those words cut deeper than any critic's insult, any fan's attack. The industry had been relentless, rumors of her being a liability, whispers of his family's disapproval, the investor showdown that nearly blacklisted them both. And now, even Songyun herself was doubting. Shu Kai hurled the phone onto the couch, ran a trembling hand through his hair, and whispered to no one, not like this. Not us. The storm outside mirrored the chaos within him. Back to the interview. The journalist sensed the shift in the room, the fragility beneath Shu Kai's composed exterior. She pressed on, voice low, almost gentle now. You've faced backlash, even from your own circle. Why hold on so tightly? Shu Kai closed his eyes for a moment. Images flooded his mind. Songyun's tear-streaked face at that infamous VIP lounge, her trembling hands clutching his when the investor threatened to destroy them. The way she smiled, even when the world seemed determined to crush her spirit. He opened his eyes, the fire in them reigniting. Because, he said, every time the world tried to break her, she still chose kindness. And every time they told me to walk away, she gave me a reason to stay. The secret meeting that changed everything. Few know this, but before this interview, Shu Kai had risked everything to arrange a quiet meeting with someone who could end their careers with a single word, the same investor who had humiliated Songyun months ago. The scene shifts, a dimly lit hotel bar, weeks before the interview. Shu Kai sat across from the investor, the air between them electric with tension. I'm not here to beg, Shu Kai said. His voice was low, steady. I'm here to warn you. Leave her alone. Leave us alone. The investor smirked, swirling his drink. Bold words, boy. You think love will save you in this business? You're one scandal away from ruin. Shu Kai leaned forward, his eyes like steel. Then ruin me. But don't you dare touch her. The moment was a gamble. If word of this meeting leaked, their fragile truce with the industry would crumble. But Shu Kai didn't care. Songyun was worth it. Tan Songyun's silent strength. Cut to Tan Songyun alone in her dressing room days later. The glow of the mirror lights softened her tired features. A script lay untouched on the vanity. Her phone buzzed with endless notifications, rumors, speculation, and hate disguised as advice. She didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, she whispered to her reflection, If he can fight for me, I can fight too. She straightened her shoulders, reapplied her lipstick, and stepped back onto set as though nothing had broken inside her. Fans begin to turn. When Shukai declaration began trending, fans started revisiting old footage, piecing together moments they had missed, the way his hand lingered on her back during press events, the stolen glances, the subtle support. Fan edits flooded social media, slow-motion videos of the two set to emotional music, captions like, "Find someone who fights for you like Shukai fights for Songyun." But not everyone was supportive. Critics warned that this public display could backfire. Brands hesitated. Industry whispers grew louder. And still, Shukai held the line. The live broadcast cliffhanger. As the interview continued, the journalist leaned in, sensing she was about to uncover something even bigger. "Shukai, was there ever a moment you almost let her go?" The question hung in the air like a storm cloud. Shukai's jaw tightened. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he glanced off camera, as if searching for strength in some invisible presence. Finally, he said, "There was one night, the night everything almost ended. And it wasn't because of the industry. It was because of me." The crew stiffened. The journalist's breath caught. Viewers across the world froze. But Shukai didn't elaborate, not yet. He simply added, "She saved me." Again. The feed cut to commercial. Social media detonated. A glimpse of what's to come. Outside the studio, Tan Songyun waited in a black sedan, her fingers twisting nervously in her lap. She had begged him not to be too honest, not to risk it all. But when she saw his silhouette through the glass, proud, unafraid, her chest ached with pride and fear. The car door opened suddenly. Shukai slid inside, the storm of cameras flashing outside. For a moment, they were alone. He reached for her hand. "I didn't hold back," he said. She searched his face. "What did you tell them?" "That you're the reason I believe in forever." Tears welled in her eyes, but she blinked them away. "Kai, the industry won't forgive this easily." He smiled faintly. "Let them come. I'm done hiding." The road ahead. As the night deepened, headlines screamed their love across every platform. Brands scrambled. Rival actors whispered. And somewhere, a powerful figure plotted their next move. The story wasn't over, it was only gathering momentum. But in that car, under the quiet hum of the city, Shukai and Tan Songyun found a fleeting moment of peace. For them, forever wasn't just a word, it was a promise forged in fire. And the world had no idea what was coming next. The city hadn't slept since Shukai's interview. Clips of his trembling voice, "Tan Songyun is the reason I believe in forever," had been replayed in every corner of the internet. Coffee shop screens. Taxi radios. Billboards that once advertised perfume now looped the moment his eyes glistened under studio lights. The world was waiting for her response. She waited too, alone, in a quiet apartment that suddenly felt too big. Tan Songyun paced the floor, barefoot, her phone buzzing every few seconds with notifications that begged for her voice. Fan hashtags were surging. #Will Tan speak? #Forever belongs to Kyan Songyun. #Answer him Songyun. She stopped at the window, staring at the city skyline Shukai loved to photograph. The memories flooded, his laughter on nights they snuck out for street food, his arms around her when the world turned cruel. And the memory of his family's cold stares during that fateful dinner. Her chest tightened. She had seen him fight for her again and again. Now it was her turn. The press conference was announced in the dead of night. Just a simple message from her manager. Tan Songyun will address the media tomorrow at noon. No further explanation. No scripted statement. The world spun faster. By morning, reporters swarmed the glass doors of the venue, cameras raised like weapons. Fans clustered outside, holding handmade banners, some with trembling hands, afraid of what she might say. The air smelled of rain and nerves. When she stepped out of the black sedan, the crowd erupted. Flashbulbs blinded her for a heartbeat, and for a moment she wondered if her legs would carry her forward. But she felt the weight of Shukai's words at her back, pushing her, protecting her. She wore a soft white dress, simple but disarming. Her hair was tied loosely, a few rebellious strands framing a face that had weathered storms but refused to break. As she walked toward the podium, every click of her heels echoed like a drumbeat of destiny. Silence fell as she gripped the microphone. Her lips parted, but no sound came. A tremor passed through her, visible to every camera lens. She swallowed hard, tried again, and her voice, fragile but steady, filled the room. "I didn't plan to stand here today," she began. The crowd leaned closer. But when someone you love risks everything to tell the world what's in his heart, you can't stay silent. A ripple of emotion swept through the audience. She paused, letting the weight of her words linger. "When I met Shu Kai," she continued, "I didn't think forever was for people like me. I thought forever belonged to fairy tales, to people born into perfect lives. But her voice cracked, and she took a shaky breath. He showed me that forever can be messy. It can be painful. It can be two people holding on when everything tells them to let go." The first tear escaped down her cheek. Cameras zoomed in. Fans outside began to cry, even before the livestream's subtitles caught up. She clasped her hands together tightly, knuckles white. "Some of you know what we've been through. The whispers. The accusations. The night his family shut the door in my face." A murmur swept through the crowd. But Shu Kai didn't just stand beside me, he stood in front of me. He shielded me even when it cost him pieces of his own world. A gasp from the corner, one of the veteran reporters whispered to another, "She's admitting it all." Tan Songyun looked straight into the cameras, as if speaking to Shu Kai himself. "I don't need a perfect story. I don't need approval from people who've never walked through our storms. What I need, what I've always needed, is him." The room felt smaller now, the tension suffocating. Even the air seemed to wait. She took another breath, and then her words shifted, softer, yet sharper. "I'm not afraid anymore. Not of the headlines. Not of the people who think we shouldn't exist. Because if believing in him is wrong," her chin lifted, defiant, "then I don't ever want to be right." The applause started cautiously, a few claps from the back row. Then it spread, louder, swelling until the walls shook with it. But before the noise could drown her out, she raised her hand. The room hushed instantly. "There's something you don't know," she said. "Something about the night we almost broke." Every journalist in the room leaned forward, pens hovering. It was after his family's rejection. After a brutal day on set. "I was ready to leave everything. I thought, maybe love wasn't enough. But Shu Kai found me alone, in the rain. And he said," her voice faltered, but she pushed on. "He said, if the world turns its back on you, I'll build you another one." The quote exploded across social media in seconds. Screenshots of her tear-streaked face and trembling lips flooded timelines. Outside, fans began chanting their names together, the sound like a heartbeat echoing through the city streets. The press conference continued, but she couldn't hear the next question. Her thoughts were miles away, somewhere with Shu Kai, hoping he was watching. Far from the flashing lights, Shu Kai sat in the backseat of a black car parked on a quiet hilltop overlooking the venue. He hadn't told anyone he'd be there. Through the rolled-down window, he could faintly hear the chants rising like thunder. He pressed a hand to his chest, where her words had landed like arrows and balm all at once. His phone vibrated with messages, friends sending clips of her speech, staff urging him to make a statement. He ignored them all. His eyes were locked on the screen streaming her live. When she said, "I'm not afraid anymore," his breath caught. And when she repeated his promise, "I'll build you another one," his vision blurred. He whispered to the empty car, "Songyun, you didn't have to. But thank you." Down below, the reporters were still firing questions. Would she and Shu Kai appear together publicly again? Did this mean they were defying the Shu family permanently? Would she forgive those who doubted her? She smiled faintly, a mixture of exhaustion and quiet triumph. "All I'll say is this," she replied. "Love is bigger than the noise." As she turned to leave the stage, a surge of emotion swept through the crowd. Some called her name. Others sobbed openly. Outside, the fans' chanting grew louder, almost celebratory, like a victory anthem. In that electric moment, something shifted. The world, which had doubted and ridiculed their love, now seemed to kneel to it. The rain began again, soft at first, then heavier, a mirror of the tears on countless faces. But Tan Songyun didn't open an umbrella. She stepped into the downpour as if it belonged to her. Shu Kai watched from the hilltop, hands tightening on the steering wheel. He longed to run to her, to hold her, to let the cameras capture what words could no longer express. But he stayed hidden, saving that moment for later. Because he knew this was her victory. Her choice to claim their forever. Back at the venue, reporters huddled under awnings, shouting headlines into cameras. Fans embraced each other like old friends, united by the kind of love story that only exists once in a lifetime. And somewhere between the city lights and the dark clouds, Shu Kai started the car and drove away quietly, a small smile tugging at his lips. He was already planning his next move, a gesture so grand, so unexpected, it would make the world believe in forever all over again. But for now, he let her words echo through him like a vow reborn. If the world turns its back on you, I'll build you another one. The road stretched ahead, slick with rain and promise. And in that fleeting moment, Shu Kai felt it, unshakable, undeniable. Forever wasn't just a word anymore. It was them.